Point one, elevate your mind. Nadi bisulaka ki ramatamu wamatamu. Kena lwana kusimba lesa sishe. Hakisama kile mungi samana ba itibaka. Kiena ngele kalezana hamoholi offensive roof. Then umribwana ba experience their challenges as they are defining Freedom Day.
Yeah, as I was saying, Gary, education is the key to many doors, but different many doors. Because as a young person, you have the capacity to think. When you're asked of questions, you're able to then analyze them properly and answer properly. Hence, I said that I make a reference to what happened during the looting. If you have that kind of capacity within you, you're able to analyze, okay, I do this action today, what are the impacts of it? That's what education does to an individual who's young. If a young person gets equipped with education, they'll be able to know the impacts that that particular thing they do today will have tomorrow.
That means, if indeed young people were free, Hakuma Mizikini, Bagabe Basa Luda, they wouldn't have taken part in looting Eriboni July last year. Is that what you're saying?
To be honest with you, it also played a crucial role.
Let's now cross over to you, offense and growth. When in your own words, regarding as you define freedom personally and also looking at other young people.
I would like to say that freedom to me is the power to act, speak, or think as one wants. For me, being able to do even the littlest things that we were deprived to do, in the past era, like freedom of speech. Being able to say no is a privilege that we could undermine. And it's a very, freedom is a touchy subject. If you ask me, because we all have different definitions of it. Like you say, we have freedom in different ways, yes. Emotionally, spiritually, financially. It's all in freedom. So I'm grateful. As a young black woman that's also part of the LGBTI community. I'm grateful to be able to walk in the community of Alexandria as I'm part of it freely, knowing that, I don't know, personally for me, nothing has ever happened. I've always experienced love and support from everybody, So yes, not everybody may be comfortable with it, but I wouldn't say it's a number that, it would overcross the fact that most of them always show love. It could only probably be like 2 to 5% of people that could just hate, but it overcomes it because it's always love that's being shown, and to me that is freedom. Today I did spend my day going to a meeting whereby me and my business partner, we were the only female black ladies there. So it was like amongst men and also part of the LGBTI community, but we were given freedom of speech, to present this proposal, and it was a blessing, honestly, because it went great, so that to me is freedom. And for the youth, like, there are opportunities out there. We just need to look out for them, we need to, they'll never just come to you. Nothing ever comes to you. You need to put in some work, then it'll meet you halfway, and that's honestly how it goes for me. So yeah.
So would you say the environment is quite conducive for young people to realize their dreams, as long as they can stand up and think? But can we say the same about the environment? Is it conducive enough? Is it enabling enough?
I don't think it is, obviously not 100%. Gela and I have worked on quite a few projects whereby we work with the youth. And like one that we were planning on working on soon is like the issue of mental wellness, mental health. That's where it starts off. It's not easy to work with. You need to start it mentally. It's a root. You can't work with people as you're not all in the same state of mind. We need to be chasing the same vision, the same goal. So we all need to be mentally stable and on the same page with that. So I feel like it goes down to that. If maybe we had better conversations as the youth when we're together, conversations whereby we empower each other, conversations whereby we grow. It's not conversations that are just of no use. Like by the time you go home, you don't even remember the conversation we had yesterday. It's of no impact. No. Surround yourself with people that make a difference in your life. People that are going to take you somewhere. People that are willing to put you on a higher pedestal. Being kind takes nothing out of a person. Putting the next person on takes nothing out of you. So I think with us just communicating and having the right conversations, we can honestly make it a better place.
The president of the country earlier on, when I offense in his speech, said a lot has been achieved, but at the same time, we need to be honest and say quite still as well that needs to be achieved.
True.
We are not there yet, but at the end of the day, when we look back, we can truly look back with pride. Do you agree with him?
I do. I mean, little progress is still progress at the end of the day, you know. So we do need to be grateful for the littlest achievements that we make as people. It's not easy, you know, running a country as the president. So, like he's saying, progress at the end of the day is progress. If maybe we could all just be on the same page, like I was saying, then it would be easier and quicker to make the progress, you know. So yeah, I think I do agree with you.
Nkele, when we look at the leadership of the country, would you say indeed they are trying, or it's like they are not trying at all, especially to address challenges facing young people?
They are not trying at all. They are trying for themselves, but they're not trying for other people's children. It's like ntlo yaka next door ha kena taba ka yona. But we were raised on Ubuntu, that we are people because of other people. But the current leadership is not taking that into account. It's all about me, but not about the next child. That's why you're seeing that the next child, akatsubadi drugs, where else my child would be in a perfect figure and go to school and become a doctor, where else the next door child, utsubadi drugs, belahaka. And as a leader, I'm not able to say, you know what, I can help you in this and this and that. Because that's the first thing that we need to know. And if we go back to our roots, that's when we will solve the problem itself. So our leaders are not going back to the roots, but they're looking at money. I feel as if once freedom was gotten, then individuals felt that they want to be greedy. They felt that the system owes them more than they owe the people. That's when everything changed.
He was also quite vocal ka taba ya corruption. A bua ka nnete president a re, if there is one thing e leng hore as the leadership or the challenge which is facing the country, the corruption which is so endemic. Re ile ra ba ra bona le state capture, ra bona the senior leaders in government being implicated. And then when you look to the future of the country, because we always say young people are the future. Now, can they take that as an impediment? Can they wait for the government? Or can they take an opportunity with whatever that is available to them, take it up, run with it, and evaluate? Because if you look up to government and leaders, will we get anywhere?
We will never get anywhere. You know, as I said when I first started, freedom is a cycle. Freedom is a state of mind. That's the unfortunate thing. That's the stage that we're in currently in 2022 as young people. We cannot wait for the government. I'll give you an example. In 2021, in the local government elections, I stood as an independent candidate, as a young person, one of the youngest. I did not get where I wanted to get, but I won the hearts of the people. And I was able to achieve something that 5 years within a person who's a councillor cannot achieve. Within a period of just 3 months. That's just an example to a young person, Oduti, in Alexandra, who has the state of mind to say, I know how to change something. Come together as young people. That's how Offensive spoke about us having engagements with young people, dealing with the mental state that they're in, to say, come back, you've got ideas. Let's sit down and collaborate as young people. Once we come together as young people, we will get very far. Their time has passed. That's why I'm saying 1994 is no longer 1994. We need to stand up and say enough is enough. Because this is our future. We can't be saying, I know government directly this and this and that. Enough is enough with that. We can't depend on people who are undependable in 2022. We cannot depend on them going forward. Yes, Oliver Tambo once said that a country that does not take care of its future does not deserve its future at all.
100%.
That is why we're standing where we're standing now. As young people, we need to say that these people who are leading us do not deserve our future. We deserve our future. And that future, we need to stand up for and fight for it. So educate yourself, come together, get ideas on the floor. Whether ubatobula business in yani, it's fine. Come together. There's something called a township economy, something we don't have in Alexandra. We've got people who have mindsets of that. Let us come together. You've got a business in Yan. Let's support each other so that the economy can stay within Alexandra, for Alexandra to grow. If when now you're a tutor, you can tutor the next person. Let's go to the schools. Allow these children to be tutored. Because in China, Ikala is a linear. Barmazulu ikocha semanzi.
Mm.
Malikocha semanzi. You the generation of the 90s, you the generations of the 80s, you the generations of the 2000s must then come and say we need to fight this. Rajaiva kaofela ngere. Ragono jaiva kaofela re etse di-event di be sharpo, batho ba thole tšhelete. We can do the very same thing by coming and engaging and speaking about social issues and speaking about economical issues and speaking about freedom and the stage that we're in so that we can overcome it.
Adbeya ka nnete nkele a ba nghopotsa gore indeed re ile ra mmona a campaign ka nnete di-poster di le up there and all over the place a re please nkgetheng le nna le mphe chance ka nnete bile a ema as a young person jwale o wa le bitsa o re letleng le tlo sebetsang kaofela. Like I asked Ofense wena nkele ke mmotsa ka environment, is it conducive, is it enabling enough so that young people can rise up ba kgone ho etsa the same things that we are doing?
It is not. And unfortunately, as I said, we make it conducive. We need to make it conducive. I sa le taba ya government, I sa le taba ya masepala, ke taba ya rona as individuals. It is not every man's for himself, but it's together for ourselves now as young people. If we come together, we're able to make Alexandra conducive.
Yes.
It's all sticks with us. If we stand up, we're able to make it conducive for our children, because I get everything is for generations that are coming. So if we don't think about ourselves only, but we think about the next person, we're able to achieve it.
Ke bona ga ntse o bua ebile Ofense o dumelana le wena. Ofense, do you want to add some more?
Yeah, I mean, on this topic, I feel like, my opinion about Freedom Day, you know, like Ngelo was saying, 1994 was then. I feel like at this today, it doesn't really uphold its relevance, you know, because of what our society is currently, you know, our views and opinions as citizens aren't really taken into consideration when it comes to votes. And if this day was about that, our votes need to be taken into consideration, but then when you look at it today, they're not, then what's the point of today, you know? We need to celebrate this day if it holds and it still upholds its original relevance. But if it doesn't, then it's of no use, you know. But like we're saying, as the youth, we need to stand up, because at the end of the day, this is our future, you know. We're trying to make a living for our grandparents and, you know, our siblings and so forth. So we need to stand up right now, because clearly it's an ongoing cycle, like corruption, and it's made a norm, and it's honestly, that's not cool. You know, it's not good for the economy as a whole. So we should stand up for ourselves and take charge, because I think it's time that the youth does take over. We do not mind working and getting knowledge from the old people. Let them educate us, but we also want them to let them give us a platform as well, because we have these new ideas and we keep crying about unemployment, but then we can create employment amongst ourselves if we are given the opportunity and the chance to. As the youth, we have crazy ideas, you know. Different thousands of businesses are, you know, registered on a yearly basis by youth, because it's an idea. It's given to you by God, because it's going to make it somewhere. It didn't just pop up because you were bored, you know. It's something that can create employment for another person and make a better living for another person, you know. So every idea is honestly a life changer for somebody else. So let them give us a chance, you know. We're honestly going to make the world a better place if they let us do it.
You know what, when I offend, I'm listening to you, I'm looking at you, and then something just came to my mind when earlier on you said you are also a member of LGBTI community.
Yes.
I want to take this moment and talk to a young person out there, because we know the stigma around the LGBTI community. They are afraid to come out. Parents are not even aware. Parents, they don't know, they've got no clue. LGBTI or I'm a lesbian, I'm a gay, what does that mean? You know, it's still a taboo. But we're not to come out on a public radio, public platform and say, I'm the member of LGBTI. I want you to encourage them. Your peers who are listening right now at home, if I come out.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say I'm very grateful, you know, to my family and them not judging me as soon as I came out. You had mentioned that I'm part of Pride Life events. So as Pride Life events, what we are trying to eradicate is the fact of having events only on Pride Month, you know. We want to have Pride Life events on a daily basis, like we have Heterosexual Groove, you know. We want to have these workshops and we want to educate people, like you're saying, about what the community is about, so that less people can find it difficult to come out. I feel like if people are educated about who we really are and what our community is, then it's going to be easier for us to just come out and be free as people. So it may not be easy, but always be who you are. Be true to yourself. Be humble. Don't pretend. And also, like, people will always talk. People will always criticize you. People will always have something to say. But stay true to who you are. Stay true to. If you feel that this is where I belong, then that's where you belong. To hell with what anybody has to say. Sometimes parents also don't realize the fact of how much that affects their kids. It's also a very touchy subject. Having to get other parents to accept. Other parents, it may be easy for them to accept it, but then how their friends may view them could be the only problem. Sometimes it's in the littlest things, but in these workshops and as we keep coming to these radio stations like this, that is, the goal, to keep empowering people and giving them knowledge about who the community is and how we actually just want to be treated. I mean, it starts from the littlest things like our pronouns, It starts from there. When you speak to a person and you look at them and you think that they are part of the community, ask them, communicate with them. What are your pronouns? How do you like to be addressed? Because some of them do take it personally. So it's from those littlest things where I feel like we should just make it a norm to educate people about the things that we want to be norms in our daily basis, So
if I manage to come out, you too can do that. Workshop here is Bright Life Events, but also the contact is Samona, Lorna Baba Tolala Guy. Can I know what's up, Kakwanu? Mumamedi, listener would feel a scripture to quote, or hi guys, Gela Kiko 12th Avenue, Alexandra. Let us celebrate through the day. Galatians chapter 5 verse 1 says, computer ka ka kwana ke tlo bala o felletse molatsa wa hao re fela ke ka mabenkele ha ke khutla re tswela ditebeng.